Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the Sussex By The Sea podcast, a podcast about all things Hastings United. And on the show today we have Beckenham Town's club secretary, Peter Palmer. He talks a little about the Becks, the club history, how their squad's shaping up, and a few players to watch. Plus, where he'll be at 11 o'clock on game day. A clue, it's with a beer in his hand. If that wasn't enough, the SEGAL has landed, that's right. Rye Seagal's back with his review of our most excellent women's team. This week he gets pre-match and post-match thoughts from the one and only Billy Wood. After our 9-0 whooping of Ashmount at the Pilot Field. After that, the fan roundtable gets somewhat self-righteous as me and Flat White Andy go off on all sorts of tangents after discussing our excellent draw with Herne Bay. Enjoy, Hastings fans. And here's Beckenham Town's club secretary, Peter Palmer. Great pleasure to speak to Peter Palmer, who's the club secretary for Beckenham Town. We've got this potential banana skin at Eden Park. So just to kick it straight off, Pete, I mean, just tell us a bit about the club and what can we expect when us at Hastings visit on Saturday?
Well, as a football club, the last few years we've been doing very well. As you may have noticed, 2 years ago we deserved to be promoted, as probably Hastings did, when it got null and voided. We were top of the league for 3/4 of that season, maybe more. Teams like Corinthians, who did eventually go up, which deserved to go up over a 2-year period, but I thought he should have been over there only 1 year because last year was only a 8-game season, so we should have went up. But we've been there or thereabouts in the last 5-6 years, sort of thing. We've really pushed on. We've improved our facilities immensely. We have a nice little ground now with 3 big, decent stands. And, as a football club and one of the best pitches, we've won a national pitch a couple of times in the country. We've won the best pitch in Kent. We won the best pitch in Kent 4 or 5 times. And we would have won it more, but we moved the counties to London from Kent.
Yeah,
we got neglected in the last few years of Kent's best pitches. They've been giving it to random clubs. So because when you're not in the county of Kent, when you go to a different county like London, you get bypassed by them sort of walls. But as a football club, we won our first couple of trophies 5-6 years ago. Senior trophies, we've avoided them over a few years, but as I said, the last few years we've been doing really well. Bars competitions, FA Cup competitions, Kent League or Skiffle League or whatever you want to call it. I still call it the Kent League, which is the best name for it. Skiffle's fine, if you like to call it Skiffle, but everyone's in Kent, so Kent League but it's Skiffle League. Well, we've done very well, and over the last year we decided we'd move to the combined counties. We accepted it. We liked the decision. We agreed to go, and so be it. Can't change that anymore. It's combined counties now, and it's a tough league. Loads of different grounds, and as you know, one day trip to Jersey always something nice to look forward to.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you started off well.
We played 2 league games. Jersey Bulls, as everyone knows, they've inflicted their first ever defeat in league football. Not that they were playing step 6 the last couple of years, and again they deserve to go up. Winning 30 odd games on the trot, and they come down to Beckenham and we beat them 1-0. Very tough game, very good side, very very good side. No one underestimate them. Yeah. And then we went on Saturday. We went away to Farnham, another new team. They were step 6, not a new team, but we've played them before, but they was in step 6 and they got promoted last year. We went there and won 4-0 on Saturday. Yeah. And we won the first round of the FA Cup in a replay against Collier's Wood. So we've won started well. 3. Yeah.
So full of confidence going into this game.
It's another step. You know that Hastings have been there or thereabouts and absolutely doing well in every season. I follow Hastings. I follow Rhine and South because it's the league we want to be in. I don't really follow Hastings, if you get what I mean. I follow the league. Yeah. And I notice Hastings do very well every year, So we've
got a few injury. Well, I shouldn't say we've got a few injury problems at the moment, so you never know. Yeah, they'll strangle me telling you that.
Yeah, I think don't try to thing yes. We won't listen to that. You know, few injuries with Hastings is it doesn't make any difference with the quality of squad you've got. You know.
Oh yeah. They're a joy to watch. For us youth fans, tell us about Eden Park, also the parking, and where to go for a beer.
I mean, the club is open early. We open at midday. You know, if you do want to come into the club, a guy called Norman and myself, we normally start drinking about 11. You know, we're not drunk. We just we start drinking early, 11, half 11.
Yeah. And
when the players turn up, we've had 2 or 3 already. So the bar's already open.
Oh, nice.
But the parking round there, if you get early, you can come into the parking. There's approximately 80 spaces. You can park around the streets anyway, because the yellow lines only go from Monday to Friday. It's only a work train station, so you can park anywhere around the ground. There's loads of spaces anywhere. You know, within 2-minute walk, you can 5-minute maximum. You can park anywhere. You know, so it's not a problem. If you do, the Eden Park train station is 150 yards away.
Oh, nice.
Eden Park train station is a Toby Carvery, which is a really nice pub, and you can get a bite to eat.
Oh, nice.
And there's a couple of restaurants outside, a curry house, there's a couple of cafes, kebab, fish and chips.
Oh, all right, so it's sorted.
Oh yeah, 100 yards from the football club. There's Sainsbury's on the corner. That's only 20 yards away from us. So, you know, you want to get anything like snacks or, as I said, the club is open anyway. Our tea bar's open from about 1:30. Burgers and various foods. So we're catered for all sorts in the area.
No, I know a few of ours are going to take the train down. I was coming down, and then I was reminded that it's my wedding anniversary. So none of the other lads know that yet. That I'm I can't get out of that one. Unless I want my guts for garters. So at this moment in time, I might not be able to make the game, but I know a lot of other lads that will be. But there you go. That's neither here nor there. For everyone that's going down there, Pete, who are the players to watch on your side?
To tell you the truth, we're a tight-knit unit, individual-wise.
Yeah, just the ones that are going to impress us, that are going to...
Well, we got a guy called Danny Waldron who's played for and maybe he's even he's been to Hastings many a time, but I don't think he's played. He played for Bromley, Billericay. He's captain both them teams, and Welling, Dulwich Hamlet.
So he's been about.
He's been about, yeah. He's not old. He's only in his 30s, so he's a very good player. He leads the team by example. Individual wise, we haven't got anyone that could, Stephen Cox been about a bit. He's a very good player. On his day, he's as good as anything. But off his day, he's as bad as anything. We're just a good unit that play together, been together a couple of years. We haven't really added. We've added 1 or 2 names this year, but if you want to have a look, we have kept the same team for 2 or 3 years now, which is always a good thing. That's probably why we're a close unit. They're good friends, all the boys. They're not anyone, as I said, that'd be outstanding. That could Jack Grealish or Paul Foden's or Raheem Sterling's. You know what I mean? So, but they're just a good. As I said, Danny Lee's by example. He's probably he definitely is number 1 player, whatever you want to call it. So. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a good player, Danny. Yeah.
Well, Pete, I'm still in negotiation about if I can maybe the honours with my wife on the Sunday rather than the Saturday. Listen, I really appreciate your time, and look, other than Saturday, I wish your team all the best this season.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you take care, Pete, and hopefully see you at the game. But I know a lot of our lads will come down.
If you do, introduce yourself,
Of course I will, Pete. Thank you very much. And you take care, mate.
Lovely.
Cheers, mate.
And now over to Ry Segal, talking to Billy Wood, giving his pre-match and post-match insights after our final friendly against Ashmount.
It's pre-match before the U's final pre-season friendly at home to Ashmount Leigh, and I'm here with Billy Wood. So, Billy, final pre-season friendly. How much of it's going to be experimentation and how much of it's going to be solidifying what you've got ahead of the new season?
I think this pre-season has been tremendous because it's given us not only challenges but shown the quality of what we brought in and how far we've come, especially in the last year. Today will just be a continuation of that, really. So whilst we're 1 week away from the start of our first season in the London South East League, we can look at it with a lot of confidence. We can look at today where we can kind of try a few things if we want to, because ultimately, let's be honest, the result doesn't matter. But also we'll be looking at really the consistency going forward. And with that consistency, hopefully comes reward going into the season.
There were a number of interesting scorelines in pre-season where the U's won heavily and also lost heavily.
Yeah.
I think many would agree that last week's game against Fulham was on the tighter end of pre-season. So against a higher division team, getting that win, what have you learned that you can really implement going into today and the new season?
Structure, consistency, depth of squad. We were missing CJ, Claire Johnson, Sean Heather. We also have been trying to get Molly fit, really. Molly, let's be honest, is our threat. She's our goal scoring threat, all was last season and will be this season. So we've had to manage her minutes and get her right. She was carrying a knee injury all pre-season, but seemed to be past the worst of that now. I would say this, the 4-0 at Burgess Hill I'll never, ever, ever understand, because realistically we should never lose a game like 4-0. But then people also think the squad changeover over the last 3-4 weeks to where we're getting the signings over the line that we wanted to get over the line a lot earlier. We got done, and the results have improved since then. And now it's just about being strong, being the hardest working team out on that pitch, but also the most structured, willing to grind out a result when needed, like we did last week, or willing to play fluid football and, with all due respect, batter a team like we've done a couple of times. With all due respect, I'm not going to knock Lancing or especially Crawley Wasps, who I think were fantastic here, their development team. But we did. We beat them comfortably, and that's down to the quality of the team. So, we're going into it. Keep our composure, let's keep our shape, and let's be organised.
And final question.
Yeah.
As you alluded to, a number of new signings have come in to strengthen the squad tremendously in many areas. So how important will squad and player management be in order to keep all the players happy and ready to go?
If the players aren't happy at this football club, they shouldn't be at this football club. The girls know it's a squad game. They know that throughout 20 league games and hopefully a cup run here or there, that there's going to be a lot of games to play. With a lot of games to play, that means one thing: there'll be injuries. There'll be another thing: that there'll be rotation. We do not want any player at this football club that doesn't want to be here, regardless of whether they play 1 minute this season or they play every single minute. For me, it's about being part of a team. It's about being happy for your teammates, being supportive of your teammates. And that's going to be the catalyst to success. Without that, it doesn't matter what great players we have at this football club. If they haven't got the great mentality, we won't succeed.
Wise words from the man with the best hair at the club. Thank you, Billy Wood.
Cheers, mate.
So it is after the match, and I'm here once again with Billy Wood. The result was a 9-0 victory for the U. So, Billy, what do you make of it? Because I guess the word you can use for it is clinical.
Yeah, yes and no, really. I think first half we dominated possession, but they were quite hard to break down. We still had a lot of chances, but they put up a good test, and that's the sort of test I was expecting from today's game. Second half, the score line's 9-0. It's a bit, I don't know, with 9-0 you're looking at, wow, we're on 9-0, but it was a game of two halves really, because I thought the first half they were actually in the game and well organised, and I don't know what happened, but whether it's fitness, whether it's superiority of our team, or I don't know, or just the fact that we are clinical, like you just said, Ryan, we just seem to blow them away. But I think the thing I'm impressed about today was we were structured, we were organised, we moved the ball well, and then we grew into the game in the final third.
The competitive season begins next week. So how much have you learned from today to take in to next week?
The problem with these sort of fixtures, and it's been the biggest frustration in pre-season now. 9-0 today, 9-0 against Crawley Wasps, 13 against Lancing. It's about, the only thing you take is do we lose who we are when the goals start going in, or do we keep at it? We made a lot of changes second half. There'll be a lot less changes in competitive games, I have to be honest. We had six on the bench today. You can't have 6 in the league. The thing I've learned is that we have a great side that will take instructions on board and work their heart off to deliver on those instructions. What did we lack today? Nothing. Didn't lack anything. But what did we learn? We just learned that we are a good, solid team, that we believe we are, and we can put set teams to the sword. I know they played Worthing in the pre-season last week. Worthing in the league above us, beat them 8-0. Friendlies don't matter. As we say, right, friendlies don't matter. But we take a lot of confidence in. We've had, that's now, how many pre-season games is that? There went 7 pre-season games. They're on about 5 clean sheets. It says a lot about the team. Clean sheets says a lot more than the goals to me.
A slightly less taxing question to end on. The season begins next week. It's at home. What message do you have to the Hastings supporters?
Just keep supporting the team, really. Girls are working hard. The numbers are 10 up for the games. We had great numbers here again today, a couple of hundred up from looking around, a couple hundred. Girls love that, really. They really appreciate the support we get at this football club. We've just got to keep doing it. Got to keep cheering for them. I think the fact is, at this club, we're very competitive on the men's side. We're very competitive now on the women's side. Everyone's doing the badge proud. I was absolutely delighted yesterday, the crowd we had for the Herne Bay game, but also delighted to get a point and get off the mark. And today, last stop for big season next week for the girls. And just get behind us. Get behind the team because they deserve it.
Thank you very much, Billy Wood. And if you like to eat like the Hastings United women's manager and Hastings United chairman, he likes roasted peanuts.
And now over to me and Flat White Andy on the fan roundtable duty. You've been warned. So, I have the great pleasure and honour of the Flat White Andy himself. No, Andy, absolute pleasure to have you on. You have done me the great honour of being part of this roundtable. We have already in the bag, Rye SEGAL has interviewed the always talkative Billy Wood regarding the women's team's result, and under 4 minutes, which I think we need to clap in. Well done, Billy Wood. Well done, Billy Wood. An under 4 minute conversation. So the women's team is all sorted.
That must have had no punctuation whatsoever in it. I can just imagine it's actually sort of invoked freediver mode and just went for it without actually breathing. I concur. So congratulations all round there. But we're going to have a little conversation about the result on Saturday. Initially, Andy, as you're far more considered, or some people call it a moaner, but
we'll see what you're going to say, because I've got a boo button ready for you.
All right, okay, so that's not going to be that much of a moan, is it?
No, of course it isn't.
How could it be?
Exactly. So, as you're far more considered than me, let's kick off. You kick off first about the game.
Yeah, it is different. It is different. It's different, actually. It's one of the reasons why we like standing up the side or sitting up the side, actually, because you can be a bit of a bore and actually watch the game unfold a bit. It's great fun being behind the goals, but you get that squashed up feeling, don't you, of the pitch?
Absolutely.
That's the only problem with it, really. I absolutely burnt to a crisp. I went home looking like a blinking Belisha beacon. I was standing out there in that. I'll tell you, it was so dull all morning, and then suddenly turned into a raging inferno. So must have been quite a bit of a shock for the players, I would have thought. Actually, that was one interesting side to it. It wasn't the best weather for sort of semi-pro football. That's for sure. And to see 950 odd people there. Yeah, so the day itself was a major success. I think I said to you when you invited me on, I said they looked. It's sort of the theme of the past 3 games: the Tottenham game and the Carshalton game, and the being unable to play a full team and that sort of thing. So they looked, that trendy word that's appeared in all sports journalism these days: undercooked. I think that cliched term could certainly apply to them. I think the one thing, and so they just didn't look quite ready. And I think almost it's again, Bob Quinn, even Bob Quinn's piece in the Observer wasn't quite as Bob Quinn as usually. Even his piece was a bit more balanced and understood what was going on. And he had that little snapshot of interview with Chris Agata, didn't he? Where he also said himself that they've got, they were still almost getting their act together because of a disjointed start to disjointed end almost to the pre-season, because pre-season always starts with a bit of this and a bit of that, doesn't it? But they never got a full team together for any of the more serious tests in the pre-season games, I guess. That's what, we didn't see all the pre-seasons, did we? But that was the feeling I got. The theme through the pre-season was they never quite got the team back together. Yeah. And that's, I don't know what teams like Herne Bay are doing, but they just look solid and organised, and they knew what they were doing, didn't they? And teams at this level are getting better all the time as well, aren't they? Over the years, they're just getting better and better and better, and they suss you out. And there are no rabbits anymore.
Well, I would disagree with you on that one. I think that we've played a very good team there that's going to be around us. And they were no mugs for the last few years. They've kind of brewing sort of playoff-y sort of positions. I do think there is a few 6-pointers in our league. In terms of our side, I felt we got that goal, which is a really well taken goal off it was like a little defensive mistake, wasn't it? And then one of our players.
Yeah, it was Ben Pope nipped on it, didn't he? He is absolutely essential to that team at the moment, isn't he? It's very difficult. They really, really struggle when he didn't look quite fit to me, and I got really annoyed at how long they kept him on with his calf. He obviously, whether he had cramp or whatever, I don't know, but he was obviously stretching his calves, and I was really worried that for the sake of an extra 15 minutes, we were going to lose him for 5 or 6 weeks or something when he was hopping around.
I got to agree with you there. I might face the wrath of Aggie here, but I was thinking the same thing. I was just thinking, there's just no reason to let this game go, because he leads our line, and we are a little bit walking wounded at the moment.
Yeah,
Dane and his magic sponge.
I think it sounded quite a few of them looked so they needed a few miles under their belt, didn't they? And I think that's all right, that's fine. But 3 points and 1.3 points at this time of the season are worth exactly the same as points in November and points in April. That's the one thing. So no, you're right about Herne Bay. I think they obviously will be. They have always been there or thereabouts, like lingering just below us, haven't they? So they were a good example of a team from that division. But, you have to be careful. Things can very quickly get away from you when there are so few teams to be promoted or get into the playoffs. And don't want to let anyone steal a march on you in that division.
Well, that's what I liked. I thought, from the point of view of the actual game, we scored that goal, and I thought that woke up Herne Bay. And I was impressed with them. But I was also impressed with how we didn't really panic. We still tried to just keep possession. It's like we were definitely undercooked. Yeah, we were definitely undercooked. But it was the way we did. It was what I liked was we could quite easily. I'll tell you, like a lot of these people that moan on the message boards about how we were 3-4 years ago. When we were scoring goals for fun, but other teams were scoring goals for fun against us.
Yeah.
We could quite easily have lost 3 or 4-1 to them, that team. Louis kept us in the game somewhat, but equally defensively, we battled and we really ground out a point there. Invaluable point. And now we crack onto
Beckenham. I think that the Beckenham. I think it was. Yeah, I think my only memory of Beckenham actually is going there. I think we were talking about cricket last time, weren't we? And one of Kent's first ever T20, when T20 was invented, one of Kent's first ever T20 games. It was at the Lloyds Bank Ground at Beckenham.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And they used to play quite a few sort of limited overs games there. And it was a fairly new, I think it was around the 2000s they started using it.
Obviously, so that's that'd be the Paul Nixon era, yeah? That's the Paul Nixon
era. Exactly. And it was absolute bedlam there, absolute bedlam. You know, just all the local boys had turned up, and just the beer tent was just this sort of throbbing mass of blokes in ill-fitting shorts and baseball caps.
Just so you know, I am recording, yeah, and there may well be an outtake somewhere down the line. There you go. No, so it's just we've gone into cricket. It's my podcast. We could talk about this. So would Elam have been in that T20 side, or would Elam have gone by then?
So Mark Elam was in the side that I remember. Yeah, Rob Quye was still in the team. Matthew Fleming, I think, was the captain.
Genius. Top player.
Yeah. And again, someone who we've talked about off the record before was Andrew Simons, the big Australian, who was just an absolute legend of a bloke, it has to be said.
Yeah, no.
So I think in those days you would contract a player and they would play for quite a few years. They didn't just dip in just for a franchise tournament or something. And so Simons was with them for quite a few years, and he, for obvious reasons, was a bit of a cult hero.
Could we possibly turn this into a rant against the 100?
I don't know what the result. I don't know whether they made it over the line, the test team today, actually. But it's funny you should say that, because on Saturday evening, after the game, we went home and we didn't go out. We were loafing, and we must have been watching something.
India won.
Did they?
Yeah, we did.
It looked bad. It looked bad half an hour ago.
Yeah, it was. Oh Jesus! 120 all out.
I know.
For fuck's sake.
I know. Well, they were freight. They were freight.
Again, right, Andy, talking to dickheads on Twitter, right? The Pujara, yeah, who's an old-fashioned test player, and all of the clever people, the Michael Vaughans, all of the ones on Test Match Special. Oh, he's taking too long. You know, all this, and on the we're still in the game, and it's like if they couldn't see a player who was slightly out of form was blunt in your team and bring about a situation where India have got a good chance to win, and they've just forgotten it because they just love this T20 shit. They
absolutely used all the time available, which is what Test cricket's all about. But yeah, so Saturday we turned on and we saw the second innings of the 100 of the London pajama bottoms against the against the something darts shirts or something, whatever. Yeah. The kits are just absolutely sensational. I think the combination of the primary, I think they're like Marks and Spencer's Pair Una. I'm sure you're aware of that. You know, where they only use primary colours. The Marks and Spencer's, that legendary, we've got to use summer wear for ladies, and everything is primary colours. And so I've heard. And that with the combination of the junk food logo on the front, particularly the Pom Bear or whatever logo.
Oh, Pom Bears. Oh, my God. Really? Pom Bears?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
absolutely brilliant.
Christ.
I mean, there was a time when when Everton, I used to think, what the hell's a Hafnia? I never really found out what a Hafnia was. But you know where you are with a Pom Bear logo on a shirt, don't you?
Well, my 5-year-old would love that. They'd be like, "Oh, look, the Pom Bears." But
yeah, it was a bit of a laugh watching it. But I mean, because they use the balls they use. Because we watched some of the Test match, and I was saying to Laura, I said, "Look at the way that ball travels when he hits it, or look at the way it travels when they bowl it." And I said, "Do you remember watching the white ball yesterday?" And that bloke, the bloke was just hitting this white ball, and it was just don't they just fly? And the red ball, it's so interesting. I don't know which make of ball they use at Lord's, but Reader or Duke or whatever. But anyway, but it's interesting the flight of those white balls. I mean, they're just like baseballs, aren't they?
But it's a form of rounders. It's a form of round. I again, just.
I don't. It's a bit of fun, but I think what's going to happen is we're going to end up polarised with that sort of thing, and a test series, and I think we'll lose all the nice. I love 40, and I used to love. But what we were talking about there was that team that won 40 over Sunday. What we would call Sunday League, and they. And that's that's enough time for a game to develop 40 overs a side.
Exactly.
And so that was a brilliant afternoon's cricket. That was it. It was perfect. You needed skill, you needed to develop a plan. And it was also between 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock and something like that. And it's just, but I think we're going to lose all that. And I think we're going to end up with pyjama cricket and a test match series that is still polarised in the sense that a certain group of players will dominate that in the same way. I don't know. Well, Michael Vaughan's not going to complain, is it? Because he's now nipping between the Test match and the 100 commentaries and earning double the fees.
It's a culture that's across the Test match special. I mean, you would never have heard Richie Benaud say these things. You would definitely not have heard Jeffrey say these things. The issue really is we're not looking after Test cricket. Yeah, we're not promoting Test cricket. Test cricket is the best game. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, but it can also be there alongside a T20, a 40 over game, if you promote it right. Yeah, and it just seems to me it's like, oh well, we don't need to look after Test cricket. But
I think it'll probably. Like I said, I just think it probably will be okay. But I think it'll. That's my thought is maybe we'll lose all the stuff in the middle, and you might even get teams that are split between the two with very few. Might get this travelling, the ultimate. The apotheosis of Kerry Packer's dream in terms of this travelling circus of players that travels around doing bashes and thrashes and crackers or whatever they call them all over the...
Imran Tahir is a complete example of that. He has played everywhere. I mean, a very decent player. But I think he's played in every league that is available, in every bash and 20 over. And now the, whatever this is, 100 ball over. 100 ball league. Anyway, so we have gone self-righteous because, well, maybe I'm just the one that's gone self-righteous here, but it's against the cricket. We could never do that against Hastings United.
No, I think
because they're awesome.
So coming back to the game, then it's like
Beckenham.
It's like a Ronnie Corbett, like a Ronnie Corbett story, isn't it? In the armchair with the meandering, but. I think that can I just say that Dave Martin, if they're going to play him on the wing, either give him the ball or give him the linesman's flag, one of the two. Because after he scored the goal, he diligently patrolled that line, and Ollie Black turned the ball back inside every single time. Okay, 98% of the times he turned it back inside. And we're a bit we look to me, it's interesting. I would love to hear Chris Agata's thoughts on it. We've got an attacking wing back in Goldsmith on one side, and we've got a totally static situation on the other side. And therefore that left the winger slightly redundant, I thought, which was where Herne Bay were able to tell that we were all coming down one side, and poor old Marcus Goldsmith was doubled up on all the time and didn't get the sort of joy he often does. And I think we need to, that balance is, I don't know whether it's a deliberate ploy or whether it's just how it turned out on Saturday, but that for me, and the importance of Pope and needing someone to genuinely understudy him, because the kids are brilliant. Freddie Legg is brilliant, but he's just going to get hoofed all over the park by those experienced centre-backs in this year anyway.
I mean, he's well up for it. I mean, with Freddie Legg, I'm thinking this game against Beckenham we got coming up, I think they're going to throw him in, and I think he'll score. I think he's very up for this.
Don't you think he's a different type of player to Ben Pope in that he's absolute quicksilver? So you need to play a different kind of ball for him. He can destroy. I mean, I know it was only the Uckfield game or whatever, and also at Eastbourne.
Apologies to Uckfield fans.
His pace. His pace.
Anti-Uckfield comments. Yeah,
Absolutely. Funnily enough, actually, when I was working in Tunbridge Wells, half my office lived in bloody Heathfield and Uckfield because it was cheaper than living in Tunbridge Wells. But there you go. Make of that what you will.
Exactly.
He's so quick. He's absolutely, he's just got a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the quickest player in the team, actually, even on what we've seen already. And so it's just a case of playing him the right kind of ball so he doesn't lose his confidence, getting biffed around by, like I said, experienced centre halves.
Yeah, they were good.
Ben Pope will go and get the ball. He will get the ball every time, and that's his body shape and his ability to retrieve a ball and do something useful for it is quite a skill. But we haven't got anyone else who can do that.
Beckenham. What are you saying?
I think it's a bit of a free hit, isn't it? Bit of a free hit, but I guess I would say you've got to use it to bed the team in. Just start easing everybody back into a proper season.
Yeah. Well, Andy, an absolute pleasure. I liked our rant there. And I'll edit our rant down to something where I'm not meandering. You take care, and I shall see you. Are we going to? I'm not even going to be at Whitehawk. What game are you?
I'm not going to Beckenham, but we are going to Ramsgate.
Oh yes, Ramsgate.
Yeah, Ramsgate. As I said to you, Ramsgate on a bank holiday weekend. What could possibly go wrong? I mean.
I'll
just say to anybody, if you haven't been to Ramsgate, you simply have to go to the big Weatherspoons the biggest Weatherspoons in the world on the seafront there in the old hall is absolutely. It's a mandatory visit, I would say. It's hilarious. It's really funny. It's just palatial. Yeah. So I'd recommend that to anybody who's going to the Ramsgate game. I must say.
Well, I can't go to the Beckenham game. I was going to go, but it's actually my wedding anniversary. So I didn't realise that at the time. And so we'll keep quiet about that. But so I won't be going. So,
would you be devoting the whole day to wedding anniversary related activities then?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, but
I look forward. I think on the next podcast, we will look forward to hearing the full itinerary that you've got planned. Actually.
Right, Andy, take care, and I will see you soon. All right, mate.
The only thing I would say before we go, can we mention Gary Elphick's white boots?
Okay, Gary Elphick's white boots. Why do you want to mention those?
He just doesn't look hard enough in them. He didn't look as hard as he normally looks in white boots. It's just psychology. It's really important at this level.
Okay. And on that bombshell, we leave it there. Well, that's all we've got left for you this week, Hastings fans. Cup fever's in the air, so enjoy. And remember, if you want to get involved or have anything to say for the podcast, please contact us on hufcpod@gmail.com or on the Twitter @HUFCpodcast. We've also got a YouTube channel that is full of good content, interviews. Please check it out, like, share, please. I need a few more subscribers on there. All that's left for me to say is I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week and see you at the game.